Yes, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. A best of 7. Spawning in the left-hand side of the map of Otamatone, it's Bly. And his opponent, spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, representing Team Exceed, it's Clem. Should also note, Bly is on the team Talon's Lions. So both these guys on very good teams, and dare I say, this game is going to start off with a proxy hatch from Bly. And it is. Alright, starting things off pretty darn aggressively. Overlord going to be moving across the map for Bly. Then getting up that pool. So I mean, technically it's a pool before hatchery before a pool, but no, this is something different. This is going to be a lot of aggression coming out of Bly. Clem. We'll see if he scouts this out. Not SCV scouting so far. And so he could be caught off guard by this a little bit. Double gas means that it's most likely going to be roaches, and the positioning of the pool really indicates that as well. Or the positioning of the hatchery. This is far too far back for it to be anything like spine crawlers, and spine crawlers not as common versus Terran, but Clem moving out with an SCV now. He'll see something's amiss sooner rather than later, but the Roach Warren already on the way. Clem's CC is on the way, but the way the timing works out, that CC might not finish. As soon as that Roach Warren's done, Bly will be starting roaches. The SCV is going to be able to identify that this is on the way from the timing. He should probably know that this is going to be a proxy hatchery just because this rush isn't super early. It's not like it was a pool first. It was a hatchery that was indeed built. Now Clem, he's coming on in with the SCV. He's going to see the double gas. Knowing that you're playing versus Bly definitely means that you're going to be facing aggression, but he commits on in. He sees the Roach Horn, and suddenly this Reaper's going to be heading on home, and we should be seeing bunkers start. Yeah, that CC instantly canceled. Clem realizing how serious this is, knowing that he's going to be going up against this Ravager rush. Now there's the Feelings out already. The Reaper is actually going to be able to chase them down. Going to be able to begin working on them. Nice bit of damage getting done. Now the Roaches out are, of course, the main story of this. Now that Reaper picking off that Zergling there. And suddenly we see two Ravagers morphing outside of Clem's base. It looks like he's planning on getting into a Cyclone. Cyclone's the very defensive tool of Terran to help deflect these kinds of rushes. Now that Cyclone on the way for Clem. Now he's been repairing that reactor. Of course, the Ravager's going to be looking for anything they can get. So far, Corrosive Biling down that supply depot. Okay, so now that supply depot being repaired, it does fall. Clem getting supply block, but he's getting Magfield Accelerator on the way. Once that first Cyclone's out, it really does shut down this rush. So Bly going to be in a bit of trouble if he can't manage to break this. He's committed to a lot of Roaches and Ravagers. The first Cyclone's out. Clem has to be careful not to, allow Bly an opportunity to really commit on top of him. That reactor being Corrosive Biled down, but that Overlord is going to be falling, so there's not going to be that much that Bly can do against that. He's going to have to micro back. He's probably going to want to commit right on in here, morphing more and more Ravagers. Is just going to want to Corrosive Bile down these bunkers, and he's thinking of committing soon. He's probably going to want to dive that Overlord in just to get the vision for the first round of Biles, then dive on in, I imagine. But the longer this goes on, the better it is for Clem. Now here comes on in Bly. He wants to commit. That poor Roach being locked on, and this just cues Bly to commit right on in. Corrosive Bile is raining down on top of that bunker. The first bunker falls, so Bly able to break that. Now SCVs have fallen. Ravagers are in the main base. Marines are being pulled into this. 5 SCVs have fallen so far. Bly needs to get a fair bit of damage done, though. Corrosive Bile is dropping down, focusing down SCVs. Picks off the Cyclone is a nice move there. Now picking off more and more SCVs. 8 SCVs have died so far. He does need to get a few more, but those Corrosive Biles, they find a connection. More and more SCVs are going to be falling. 10 SCVs died in total, but I'm not sure it was enough for Bly, who has to go into droning behind this, and it's a one-base Clem, but on Bly's side of the map, he's also just one base. He's got this hatchery up, but it's never really going to be mining. So drones are just being produced from the larva at that base. Larva is a resource for the Zerg, and now it's a Magfield Accelerator Terran versus a Zerg, really with no options. Clem just deciding to expand behind this Bly, getting up a hatchery. He got some damage done to the Terran player, but the way those Cyclones, they really just rip right through that hatchery. And now Clem's able to move out and drop. The Broodling is chasing this, but what's he going to do versus 2 Cyclones? He's got speed on the way. He's making roaches because he knows he has to, but he'd like to be making drones right now. But Clem just moving out with the 2 Cyclones and Marines. I think he's probably got this in a very good situation. Now, yeah, Bly's in a lot of trouble so far. Clem macroing up behind this as well, getting up his CC. The Medivac is going to be a perfect spotter. The hatchery being locked on. I think Bly is pretty much just dead here. A Corrosive Bile attempting to connect, but the hatchery is going to be canceled, and I don't think we can blame Bly for tapping out at this point. Cyclone's going to be locking on. Ravager gets locked on. Another one that's morphing is going to be locked on, and Bly, he's just being chased in towards his main base here, and even if he does manage to clean this up, his hatchery was delayed, so Clem's going to be up on bases, and Bly really with no tech at his disposal. He's pretty much dead at this point. That's the only way to say it. Drones being pulled on into this. Bly's desperately trying to hang on, but yeah, this is looking pretty darn good for Clem here. Medivac is actually going to be forced back. The Cyclones getting cleaned on up, but at the end, Bly, he loses drones. 7 drones died there. He lost his hatchery, and now Clem can he's just getting up in his production. He's producing tanks back at home. It's still just a 1-base Zerg. Bly's trying to expand behind this, but yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. There's no doubt about it. Cyclones lock on. That's going to be 2 dead Ravagers. And Bly can't really afford to be replacing those. Another scan going down to give vision so Bly can lock, or Clem can lock onto these last 2 units. And with that, there's really not a lot for Bly. Cyclone can commit on in, can lock onto the Queen or whatever. And that is pretty much going to be Bly dead, I think. Tanks rolling on up. Yeah, just a slow death at this point. Queen's moving on in, Ravager, some roaches popping out, but yeah, with Bly losing that base, he's done though. Clem just reacted to this rush appropriately. More roaches are going out for Bly. He's trying to get into like a 1-base lair or something, so you can eventually counter at the Cyclones, but when there's a tank sieged up and you're a 1-base Zerg, it's never a good situation. He's making 3 Ravagers. There's a chance he'll be able to Corrosive Bile down the tank, but he's losing drones. Yeah, Bly is this is just a slow death. This is a fantasy GG timing is what it is. I mean, he's trying his hardest, but yeah, maybe he thinks he got more damage versus Clem than he did. Clem back at home, he's at 33 workers, getting up his barracks. And looks like this tank will be saved, so Clem gonna be forced back. Bly made a handful of lings. Okay, Clem's going for a fusion core behind this, so you can always make battle cruisers. That's one way to tell Bly to get out of the game. If you teleport in with a battle cruiser, and then your opponent doesn't have the queens to deal with it. We're going to be seeing Bly attempting a Nidus here. I mean, you got to give it to him for giving it the good old college try, but like, this is just such a late Nidus. I mean, if there's anything that'll give him a shot, it is this Nidus, because Clem, he's got the 2 tanks, he's got the 12 Marines, the 2 Medivacs, and he is going to have something else on the way, like a battle cruiser, but alright, Bly's going to try it. If Bly wins this game, I would be very impressed. Look at this, though. Clem just microing this tank for days. Bly, Corrosive Bile going down. Trying to pick this up, but Clem knows there's no expo for Bly at this point, so he should just be getting prepared, and look at that, with that battle cruiser on the way. Bly's going to be in trouble. He's trying to get this tank, but Clem's just microing it, picking it up, and dropping it down. And there's the Nidus on the way. Nidus are now vulnerable while morphing on in, so it's even more important that Terran really scouts them. But here comes Bly. He's going to load on into that Nidus, and I mean, it's going to be a fair bit of Zerg into the base of Clem, but here it is. Clem doesn't have Stim or anything out, so Bly's coming on in with everything now. Another Nidus Worm even starting. Queen's marching forward. Tanks are set on up, though. Bly's going to give it a try, but he just doesn't really have the stuff in order to make this happen. I think this is where we'll probably see him tap on out. Clem just having too much right now. Bly, Queens are doing their best. Transfuses going down, but it's just not enough. Clem cleans it up. GG. Clem takes the first map after holding that proxy. All right. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Starting things off, Bly showing that he's willing to fight tooth and nail. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Second map's going to be Parasite. We'll get right on into that. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in today. Alright, we will get on into the lobby, get everyone on in. Supraki saying this guy plays more online games than any EU Zerg player. I mean, Bly hits that grind hard. He was playing Go for SC2 before this. Both players are ready, so we'll just dive right on into it. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Okay, but here we are. It's a best of 7. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. He got himself the first map defending at proxy. It succeeds Clem. And his opponent spawning down the bottom right-hand side of the map. It's Bly. Okie dokie, now Overlord moving out on the map. SLC Memento asking who won Tasia versus Parting. I'm going to give you the answer to that, so spoilers alert. It was a 4-2 for Parting, taking out Tasia, winning the last 2 maps very, very quickly. Now, we'll see how this game's going to go. Bly not proxy hatching at this game. I expect we'll see at least like one late-game scrappy Terran versus Zerg. But Battlecruiser seem to be the name of the game for Terran lately. Bly just getting his hatchery. Spawning pool on the way. And then, yeah, just opening up with a standard Terran versus Zerg. Clem getting his command center up. Everything completely normal so far. Yeah, some people did find the result for Tasia versus Parting a little bit surprising. But, guys, basically that means they're currently tied 1-1 in series, as Tasia won the first one. And then Parting able to win the second, a little bit surprising to some, so we'll see. But I mean, Parting's best matchup, without a doubt, is his PvT. Clem scouting out with his Reaper, checking for proxy hatcheries, seeing everything's normal though. Bly not going for it once again. It's good to see a fair few of you guys are sticking around for the for this match. Make sure to check out that exclamation mark Matcherino, by the way, guys. We've used all the codes for the first map, but this is the second one. Yeah, checking for that proxy hatchery. Now, feelings are moving across the map for Bly. Hellions are on the way for Clem, though. And we'll see if Bly hangs around with these or if he commits right on in. Sometimes Zergs do just commit right on in and look for the SCV or something, but yeah, he's diving right on in. However, Clem's just going to raise those depots, run the SCV, and this really is sacrificing the Lings for Bly. Meanwhile, the Reaper on Clem's side of the map, not getting anything done there, but these Hellions will clean up these Lings. Bly splitting them up, though, sending them every which way to try and keep them alive, just being a bit of a pain, getting the scouting confirmation off. Third hatchery on the way up for Bly. Parasite, a very large map, and this was indeed Bly's map pick. So this is one that he's going to be comfortable with. Now a fusion core is on the way for Clem. Okay, it's going to be that sort of battlecruiser rush style. Overlord's flying on in for Bly. We'll see if it's able to confirm whether there's a fusion core or not. It's just a Viking on the way for now. mean, you can probably assume it's going to be a Viking popping out of that, so I'd like to see Bly commit this to the left, see the fusion core. And with that Viking popping out, Bly has no idea what's on his way. He's busy dealing with these Hellions, though. The Overlords are going to fly on in now, but, I mean, he never committed it left in order to spot the fusion core. And as a result, he's going to be blindsided by this battlecruiser once again. Guys, how long until Terrans are just like, yeah, he's going for that battlecruiser once again. Until it's no longer like a cool meme that Terrans are going for these BCs. Lings are going to try and get on in here, however, we'll see. I mean, Bly, it's possible he'll be able to break down this command center. He's actually going to do just that. He forces the cancel. Now going to try and get a wraparound on these Hellions. Bly committing into the natural of Clem. SCVs are pulled into the fight right now. A few of them are going to die to this. So far, looks like the Hellion will die. Just 3 SCVs, but delays the 3rd CC. Probably worth it for Bly. Now he's droning up, and the concern is he does need to have something that'll answer to these battle cruisers. I imagine if you're a Zerg, you've played versus this a fair amount on the ladder. But Bly just really droning on up. How many queens does he have is the question. He's got 5 queens. 5 queens can challenge a battle cruiser if they're all together. And now we'll see whether Clem teleports us in or runs it in. The thing is, it seems a lot of the Terrans like teleporting their BCs and getting them into the action right away, but I'm a big advocate for running them in, because if you lose the battlecruiser, it is definitely not worth it. Now there we go, that battlecruiser teleporting on into the natural. Bly has a spore, and okay, I like this. He immediately starts another. He may have to run these drones first. Battlecruiser working away on the queens. Now, Bly's got to be careful because these Hellions are running on in, and ooh, I like this, the choice. He's making a very tactical decision to retreat, to abandon the space. The drones being pulled in towards that natural. These Hellions not going to be allowed on in, because this is the classic 1-2 that Terran goes for with these battle cruisers. We're seeing Lings try and wrap around on these Hellions. Should be able to shut down most of them. That's actually a fantastic choke point for Clem, though. And now this battle cruiser, it was forced back. Yeah, it got 5 drones, but it committed on in. Hellions being forced back, and Bly kept a good amount of his drones alive. Meanwhile, he's getting up a 4th base. Clem has confirmed sighting on the 4th base, and he's following this up with a bio play, so this was just like a standard rush. Scan being used for Clem, cleaning up this creep with the good old battle cruiser. Gets all those tumors, nicely done. Now, Ling's looking for these Hellions. We'll actually be able to get the Hellions, which is a nice move, not having to worry about them later on. Overseer's confirming that it's a bio follow-up is a nice move, so while this game started off with a battle cruiser rush, Clem's making another. Bly's safe, and we could be heading into a normal macro Terran versus Zerg, yeah, and we even see that. That's how we know it's a macro TVZ. There's that macro hatchery. Now that extra battlecruiser finished up, it's going to kill off the Overseer. There's currently 2 out. One of them just waddled back home. The other's going to teleport in towards that 4th base. The Spore Crawler's heading there right away. Bly pulls the drones. He's going to lose 2. May lose some more units. There isn't creep connecting this, so the queens have to be careful. Yamato going down on one of the queens, going to work away on her. Another high energy queen being targeted down. Bly transfuses her, keeps her alive though. Retreating with these other ones, but actually another one's teleporting on in, and does Bly have an answer? He's just being forced to retreat with these queens, throwing up another Spore Crawler, but a Yamato cannon going down, and suddenly Bly might not have an answer to these 2 battle cruisers in his base. Not taking it seriously enough. He's going for a counterattack, it looks like, making a handful of Lings, but it really is the queens he needs to deal with this, and he's actually going to be heavily supply blocked by this, and Clem's following it up with bio, so these battle cruisers are getting some very nice work done. Spore Crawler working away on this BC. Queen got to do her best, but Bly's going to have to make some Corruptors or something to deal with this. He's got a lot of Spore Crawlers at each base. The Spore Crawlers have the health to tank the BCs, but now we're seeing Lings run on in towards the 3rd base. We'll see if Bly gets some good counterattack damage, and so far getting a fair bit. A Baneling's going to roll on in, gets a pretty decent connection. 9 SCVs going down, 10, 11, 13. There's Lings in the main base as well, so Bly getting 17 SCVs. And while he's taking damage back at home to this battlecruiser, the damage he's doing onto Clem just with the standard Ling run by is massive. Did one of the battlecruisers die? Yeah, one of the BCs died, and those are an expensive loss. And now we're seeing Mutas coming out of Bly. And Mutas aren't the best versus battlecruisers, but they should be enough to push this guy away. And Bly, he's on 71 drones. He's been taking a bit of a beating from these BCs. This Queen's going to be getting Yamato cannon, but this BC can always teleport away, and it does. So Clem taking a fair bit of a beating from this. Now, from the Ling run by, but we'll see. Here comes in the bio. What does Bly have to defend this? It's going to be like a standard Ling Bane following this up after battle cruisers, but does Bly have the stuff? Banelings roll forward, cleans up a fair few of the Widow Mines, gets decent connections there, but now he needs something to push back the rest of this bio. There is no combat shield on these Marines just yet, so they're rather weak. The Mutas able to pursue them. Few Banelings chasing this back, so the Marines can't turn and fight the Mutas, and Clem has to evacuate, so Bly pushing this back. Very nicely done. And now we're seeing these Marines are being pursued. The Muta's working away in the Medivacs, and Clem's actually in a lot of trouble this game. He's going to be losing most of his Medivacs, and this third player could potentially just snowball right now. Medivacs peeling off. Clem trying to consolidate everything. He's got a battle cruiser back at home to try and hold on. That will actually help cleaning up the Lings. But Bly, for now, he's secured 4 bases. He's getting into his 2-2. Clem not started his 2-2 just yet. Clem's getting into Drilling Claws to help deal with the Widow Mines. He's on the 3 bases, standard Terran macro, but Bly's got these Mutas to play around with. And the lack of 2-2 is going to be rather concerning for Clem as this game moves on. All right, the Mutas, they're going to be looking for something at this third base. Turret will shoot him away, so not going to find too much there. There is a turret in the main base. Battle Cruiser can actually Yamato one of the Mutas, which is actually very nice for it. And Mutas, they're actually so slow at killing the BC. There we go, there's the Yamato cannon. Pops one of those off. Marines waiting to try and catch the Mutas, but so far good deflection from Clem. However, he's still a bit on the back foot because Bly has the mobility. If Clem moves out, it's a very long push distance for the Terran player. And he's starting his 2-2 now, but he's going to have a distinct upgrade deficit for a time. He's even now, so if he's going to push, now is probably the best time. Either that or he'll have to wait a fair bit. Alright, and Clem's moving on in. It looks like he's really going to be pushing into this third base. All the Spore Crawlers have been repositioned. Actually going to do a good job keeping these Medivacs back. Bly's creep spread, it's not too far out, so Clem's able just to push right on in. Marauders moving forward, going to absorb these Banelings. Some of the Banelings changed their mind. A lot of Widow Mines are hanging out for Clem, just waiting for Bly to do a big commitment, but look at this. Clem being chased off creep. Marines are stimming. They have to try and escape from this. Widow Mine going to burrow, but Clem's losing so much, and meanwhile the counterattack going on. 23 SCVs going down, 24. Clem taking a massive beating from these Ling counterattacks. He's cleaned it all up, but his attack gets completely shut down. Widow Mines have been getting some connections, but not enough to overcome the amount of army that he lost. Now we are seeing Bly may want to go for a kill move, try and shut down his opponent. Yamato cannon working away on those Mutas once again, killing off another. Clem's got a good number of Widow Mines, so I don't think Bly's going to be able to commit on in here. Tutu's on the way for Clem. Mutas are flying on in here. Turret's not being repaired though, so SCVs are going to be in a world of trouble. 4th base is up for Clem, and that's the reason why he's not out of this game really macro-wise yet, but he's down to 37 SCVs, so losing 15 more is a pretty massive amount. I mean, Terran can handle to lose a few, but this is where it's really starting to get out of hand. The turret at the 3rd base has been cleaned out by the Lings, I believe, and suddenly these Mutas can just bounce towards that 3rd if he wants. This is the classic Mutas pulling Terran out of position. Clem doesn't have much of an answer towards this. The Mutas working away at the 3rd base. Widow Mines can burrow to try and force these back, but Bly picks off one of them, and it's probably just a slow death from Clem here on out. Either that, or he's got to take this game very, very late, as that is what the Terran needs to do. If you're down on economy, it's sort of an interesting mechanic in StarCraft 2. If you get maxed out, and your opponent, of course, can't get beyond maxed out. So as far as armies, even if you're at a deficit, say economy or base-wise, if you're maxed out, you can always take a good fight. So Clem may actually just have to sit back here, try and take no more damage from the Mutas, but as I say that, Mutas flying in towards the 3rd base now. Yamato cannon going to pick off one of them, but Clem needs some more BCs or something if he's going to keep doing that, as there is currently 27 Mutas for Bly. He's having a very fun time as these Mutas fly on in. Going to be at that point in which they can just pop off turrets, focus down production, and here comes in Bly. He's going to be rolling on in with all of these Banelings. The 4th base for Clem was not a planetary, so that's going to be under fire, and he's just losing everything. He's going to lose his main base command center, and it's just a slow death. These Mutas just picking the young French Terran apart. Banelings are going to be cleaned up by these Marauders. The battle crews are going to clean it up, but Clem's in a world of trouble. Third base now being picked off. It's going to fly, try and get cover from the Widow Mines, but it is going to go down, and GG Bly ties it up. Currently tied 1-1. Putin saying, now that Thor nerf, Bly could be good again. I mean, the Thors needed a nerf versus Mutas, guys. I'm a Terran, and I'll admit that. Yeah, like, Terran's Thors were very, very good. Like, Mutas weren't really an option, and they're still pretty darn good versus Mutas. They got the splash reduction, but they really are that solid tool in order to force Mutas back. Now, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Feel free to follow the stream. We're trying to hit that goal of 1,000 followers. The goal is 1,000 followers before the new year. And I know that counter's not actually up to date, but we are 66 subscribers away. So we'll find out what the next map is. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. A lot of Starcraft 2 going on lately. Next map is going to be Kairos Junction. So, I mean, Bly took the first match. Putin, what's your next event? I can't really say what we've got coming up, but it may be another potential rematch from one of the other show matches I've done. Yes, can't necessarily keep doing the show matches as often as I'd like. Of course, there's the Africa Worlds every 2 weeks. But you guys can check me out at !caster. I tweet out any events. And it looks like we've actually almost used all the codes for this event, which is really awesome, guys. But Bly is ready. We'll make sure that Clem is ready once he loads on in. And yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. I hope you guys are enjoying all of these matches. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's a Terran versus Zerg. It's currently tied 1-1. What is the link for codes? !Matcherino is the command, but I believe we've actually used most of them. And both players are ready. We're loading on in. However, there is the sponsored quests you guys can do. If you have a Twitter, a YouTube, there are quests under the event. Basically, all you do is you literally click, follow on Twitter, and it adds like 25 cents to the prize pool. And that's a pretty sweet deal. If, say, 10 of you do that, $2 to the prize pool. Which is, as far as making money literally just for clicking, like, guys, I know there's a lot of scams out there on the internet that say click this for $1,000, but no, you actually click that and it actually supports the event. But enough of that. We're in the game now. Spawning up the top left hand side of the map, representing Talon's Lions, it's Bly. And his opponent spawning down the bottom right hand side of the map, representing Team Exceed, it's Clem. Alright, it looks like Clem going to be opening up with a proxy barracks. And it seems like it may just be the one barracks this game. So, taking a page from the PVT notebook. Just the single barracks, a bit of an odd proxy, but it can catch Zerg players off guard a little bit. So this is going to be hitting earlier than Bly is usually used to. All right, it is awesome that we've used all of those Matcherino codes, but of course, If you guys do want to support the event, support the players beyond that, you can grab the event replays. And yeah, like I said, those sponsored quests support the prize pool for free. Overlord moving across the map. It's definitely worth noting that there's a bunker on the way outside of Bly's base. A spine crawler gets started in reaction to this. Bly may be thinking that this is a standard proxy, but no, it's just going to be the single Reaper variant. SCV going to try and keep this alive. It really does come down, but SCV going to be killed off. Bunker going to be cancelled, so that not getting up for Clem is very nice for Bly. Reaper cleaning up these Zerglings as there's no speed, so that's really the minimum that the Reaper's going to get here. Now some of the Lings are moving across the map here, and Clemmy's got his CC building in his wall, so it's not like it's on the low ground, so it's not going to be super vulnerable or anything, but these two Reapers, it is going to be limited what they can do. Clem's double expanding behind this, building another CC in his main base. One Reaper hanging out here at the front, but gonna have to run away from that Queen. Meanwhile, another one's coming back to clean up these Lings. And there's no speed on the way for Bly. It literally just started, so these Lings are forfeit, so he's not gonna have that for a while before dealing with this. He started a spine, but he started it, so his macro being a little bit disrupted this game. Barracks flying on back. And then just these Reapers hanging out. Another Reaper coming on in. Two Reapers can poke and prod the Queens a little bit, but of course the Queens will win out. Those Reapers are going to be forced back. And now we are seeing Clem going into our reactor, but Bly has confirmed it's a third CC, so I imagine that's going to make Bly want to throw up his own third hatchery as soon as he can. But look at this, Clem being a bit of a pain. Queens are going to have to move on down to clean out those Reapers, but the fact that there's two Reapers on the map, it's... Ooh, one of those Reapers getting weak. Another one going to dive into the main base of Bly, but so far no third has been able to get up for Bly. He's trying to escort this drone down with the Queen, but the fact that Clem's third CC is done and Bly hasn't started his third base is a little bit rough for the Ukrainian Zerg player. That Reaper will be cleaned up. The drone actually died for Bly, so his third base is very, very late here. Now Clem getting up a fusion core. Yeah, so I mean, Bly scouted the third CC, but Clem's already at that stage in which he's making Hellions. He can begin transitioning. And the fact that Bly has only just started building his third base is very, very rough for him. Clem really threw Bly off with this, it seems. And just the fact that those two Reapers were able to deny the third base for so long is absolutely huge for him. Hellions now grouping up with this. Bly's starting a lair. He's getting his Evos, so he can have faster upgrades than the French Terran, but this is looking very nice for him. Hellions on the way. Clem going to be floating over that starport, so you can always start up a battle cruiser, and I imagine that's what we'll see. He wants to build it, but so many Terrans get supply block building these BCs because they take pretty much a whole supply depot to themselves. So actually a pretty significant supply block for Clem. That depot just starting now. Fuelings running in for Bly. We'll see the status of everything. We'll see those Evo chambers just starting to go on up. So Bly's going to have an upgrade lead, but it is going to be that battle cruiser play once again. He's got to be on point with his defense, so make sure that he's ready to accept these BCs. One Spore Crawler starting in the main base, which will prevent a possible teleportation of a battle cruiser. And I mean, I guess it is kind of random. Players like Clem who teleport in their BCs, they don't know where a Spore Crawler is when they randomly pick a place, so that's actually going to be an interesting bit of a mind game. But there's actually so many Hellions here for Clem. He's gone up to 8 this game. He's following it up with Bioplay, of course, but these Queens have got their work cut out for him. And now the fourth base of Bly is going to be under fire. Now, a few Hellions usually can't damage down in a hatchery, but this many Hellions definitely can. Looks like Bly is planning a bit of a counterattack this game. once again, I mean, his Ling run-bys were lethal to Clem in the previous game, but he's going to be losing his 4th hatchery. These queens are coming down to try and deal with this, but soon enough, there's going to be a battle cruiser teleporting on in. Ling's working away on this wall. Bly going to be denying the 3rd base of his opponent, but he's not morphed banelings or anything, so he can't crash down this wall. And suddenly, now there's going to be Hellions diving on into the main base of Bly, and Bly's in a world of trouble right now. He doesn't have enough Lings. His production really has just been lacking. He's going to be losing so many drones to this. 3 drones dying so far. Hellions are just absolutely roasting workers of Bly. 14 have died so far. A few Lings coming on in. Queens coming on in, but 19 drones have died. And now there's a battle cruiser hitting that 3rd base. A Spore Crawler is repositioning, but I think Bly's actually going to lose it, and his production really has just been lacking. He didn't have enough Lings in order to deal with that run by. He wasn't ready for those Hellions, and he's actually going to lose this hatchery, which I think is pretty much lights out for the Ukrainian Zerg, unless he gets off a transfuse, but a Queen's coming forward. However, is it going to buy enough time? No, it's not. Clem not able to get a transfuse off. Bly's going for a counterattack. He needs to get a lot of damage done, though, but denying the 3rd base of his opponent, delaying it, isn't enough. He can find those SCVs, which would be nice, but keep in mind, oh, he did actually save his 3rd base, which is very nice. So, or his 4th base, which is now his 3rd. So saving that was very nice for Clem. But still, the fact that he's taken so much damage, these 2 BCs are still out. Clem's transitioned into Bio. Bly, the one thing that he has going for him is that faster +2 Carapace. But, I mean, if Bly had, say, found those SCVs, it would have been nice for him. But now Clem, he's got this monstrous army that's going to be supported by 2 battle cruisers. He's getting up a bunker, starting to wall off this base, knowing that Bly is relentless with his run-bys, but Bly suddenly got to rebuild his 3rd base. He lost 20 drones, and Clem looking very good in this game. Aspire just starting for Bly, but his production is so low. He's got 12 Lings out on the map versus 19 Marines. I know, of course, Zerg production. Eventually he'll make a big swell, but the supply does not lie. And 3 Spore Crawlers starting at this base, but it's already weak. The Queens are coming on in, gonna have to transfuse each other to keep each other alive. More Spore Crawlers being started, so many Spore Crawlers being started for Bly, but it's really just desperation at this point. These BCs may actually be able to get this hatchery. For now, they're dealing with the Spore Crawler. They could probably do with right-clicking on the space for Clem, but Clem's already so far ahead this game. We've seen a few fantasy GG timings today. But Clem scanning that base, seeing that Bly's just resecuring his 3rd base, knowing how much bio he has. Bly is going to have the Carapace upgrades, but he doesn't even have enough Queens. He's literally just got these 2 Queens, so his macro is severely lacking. He's floating minerals, but yeah, there's just so many Lings as these battle cruisers are just really destroying him right now. Now, here comes on in Clem with all this bio. Bly's in trouble. And yeah, here comes in this bio. A single Baneling is morphing for Bly. He's got a few out, but he's abandoning this base. Still no answer to the battle cruisers. Clem's moving on in with all this bio. There's going to be a handful of Banelings, but I think Clem knows he's got it. Targets down the Banelings. Marines take it. 2-1 lead for Clem. All right, very well played. Okay, yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. We'll find out what the next map is. Bly's going to have to bring it back if he wants to take it. All right. So we'll find out what the next map is. But yes, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. If you're enjoying the content, feel free to hit that follow button. And of course, you can check me out everywhere else. All right, we'll find out the next map as soon as we can. Next map, Saralyn Fall. Pio-chan with the follow. Awesome to see. That is the goal, guys, to hit 1,000 followers before the end of the month. We'll get everyone on into the lobby. Okay. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Everyone's ready, so we're going to get on into it. So far, we've seen a lot of battle cruisers. All right, but we're loading on in. It's a best of 7. Spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, he's got himself the 2-1 lead. It exceeds Clem. And his opponent spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, representing Talon's Lions. It's Bly. Now, Bly is one of those players that exceeds at chaos, but he's usually used to giving it. Whereas these battle cruisers have sort of been putting him on the receiving end of things. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in today, though. It really is awesome that so many of you guys are sticking around for this show match. All right, now that hatchery on the way for Bly. Clem's barracks, where it belongs. And that overlord moving across the map. So, Bly, like, he seems to like to play that Mutiling Bane, but that last game, just everything fell apart for him there. There's no other way about saying that. Overlord moving across the map. And then, yeah, that's really all there is to it. We'll see if Clem opens up with this battlecruiser style every game. They seem to be pretty good for Terrans. And the main thing is, players do not commit to the BCs. BCs en masse, they're not good, but they are so good early on now. Yeah, this early game Starcraft 2 really is just a Overlord documentary. When, you know, you're tired from observing the past however many 10 games. Reaper locking onto these lings. Exo saying my PC can't handle 1080p. Unfortunately, that's Twitch's fault. The fact that they haven't given me partner. And apparently this stream is not one of the blessed ones. It's pretty much random whether you get the quality options or not. Now, Reaper doing his best to be a pain. Killed off 2 lings so far. Fly getting up a few more, but getting up his 3rd base, everything normal. And now we'll see if he's going to be facing off against that battlecruiser style once again. The Starfort's on the way, the Hellions are on the way. Tech Lab's starting for Clem already, so we'll see if it's a fusion core. Could always change it up into those Banshees. Reaper hanging out in the bushes, like that weird guy at the park.
SCV ready.
Viking on the way, no fusion core yet. So it's possible that this is not a battlecruiser play. I like how that's really the big deal for a TVZ opening these days. It's will the Terran make a battle cruiser? And no, he won't. Stim pack on the way. Clem just making an overlord with his factory, and that's it so far. Queen's being worked away on right now. Bly should be able to transfuse her, keep her alive. Ling's committing out. Actually going to get a bit of face time. Maybe get one of the Hellions. Not quite, but weakening a few of them. Always nice for them to be picked off earlier. Bly starting up a few more Lings in order to make sure he's got something to answer those Hellions if they dive on in. And then, oh, look at this. The paranoia. The battle cruiser paranoia is real. Spore crawler, spore crawler, spore crawler. Roach Warren, apparently. Now, yeah, so Bly a little bit paranoid, but he flies on in there, sees the third command center. Of course, it's tough to know the exact timings as to whether your opponent spent 400 minerals on a command center or on a battle cruiser, but as far as what he knows nothing. Yeah, blind spores, I mean, because this would be safe for normal Banshee timings too, so it's not like the spores really are a catch-all. It's worth the investment as opposed to just dying versus something like this. But actually, oh my gosh, it's a Medivac and some Hellbats coming on in here. Bly's got to react to this. Drones are going to have to run. So far, 4 have gone down. Hellions pushing in at both, or Hellbats pushing in at both angles. Queen's transfusing. Ling's getting a wraparound right now. Queen's not targeting down the Medivac just yet. They're doing a pretty good job, though. That Medivac not able to heal one of those Hellbats, so it does go down. So good defense from Bly so far, losing only 4 workers. The Medivac being pushed back. The Viking possibly going to get cleaned up. Clem saves the Viking in the Medivac. Not something you see every day. And the Viking gets unloaded, then turns into its flying mode. How cute is that? Now, so those Hellions and Hellbats didn't get much done. And I'm a little bit concerned, guys, that the fact that this did not get much done and the battle cruisers did in the other game, that we're just going to see BCs the rest of the series. Oh, 6 drones died to a Hellion run by in. Oh no, Bly, 10 drones going down. Ugh. Bly had nothing in position there. Those drones took a lot of damage. So what was looking like a pretty darn good hold. Losing those 10 drones really hurts Bly. He's got his 4th base up already, which is very nice for him. He's getting into a macro hatch. He's getting his 1-1 on the way. Clem already has his stim done though, so he's going to be able to go for these marine drops. Bly is spreading his creep, which is very important. But here comes on in Clem, going to be unloading these Marines, and we'll see if Bly has enough to defend. 24 Lings on the way, very important. A few Roaches out as well will help out. Even making a few Banelings for good measure, so Bly taking this very seriously. Now the Marines are moving forward for Clem. It's at this point, though, in which it's only 16 Marines. I say only 16 Marines. They're not quite as tanky as usual. A good surround from Clem. Actually picks off one of the Medivacs, does Bly, pardon me. Now, yeah, so Bly able to shut that down very well, getting a nice surround. Picks off one of the full Medivacs. That was actually such a huge move. Now Clem moving forward, cleaning up some of this creep. Lings are getting a wraparound, though, pushing it back. Bly's going to want to try and keep his creep spread rolling. And Saralyn Fall is a very large map, so if you keep your creep spread up, you have a lot of control as the Zerg player. These units tailing these Medivacs, just making sure that they can't unload anywhere without being contested. Lings are going to get on into the main base to try and shut this down. Clem probably aware he's not going to be able to get too much done. Bly covering all of his bases, literally. That's not just a metaphor, but oh, actually here comes in a Widowmine drop, but oh, look at that, good spread from Bly. Clem being a bit of a pain, burrowing those mines once again. Ling's got to be careful. Ooh! A lot of Lings dying to those Widowmines. 14 kills on that one, and it gets out. Adding a little bit of insult to injury, the fact that those escaped Roaches. Trading out with those Marines, the Marines do win. And suddenly Bly's 4th base could be in a bit of trouble if those Marines go for it. However, though, he is staying on it. Oh my god, guys. Bly was expecting to lose some drones. He's up to 94 drones. He's getting into a 5th base, but from this point out, He's also getting up spine crawlers, which is awesome to see. Cannot love spine crawlers from a Zerg player enough. Looks like that drop being shut down. Where are those spines? There's one, there's two. Okay, so yeah, getting one in each base, but the concern is Clem coming in right now. Bly has the economy, but does he have the units right now to make the defense? He's got to be morphing some banelings. He's got 11. He's making a lot more lings. Going for a counterattack. There's a bunker here. It's not being repaired. We'll see if this is enough to pull Clem back. He's got his production getting on top of this, though. Lings will engage this. Bly desperately needs to push this back now. And Clem's army, it's not too massive. Pretty good Widowmine connections going off to the Queens, though, with their transfuse. More banelings rolling forward. Looks like Bly is going to be able to rout Clem. Shuts down one of those medivacs. And now he's got mutas on the way. And, oh, actually, those Marines unloading in a very troubled spot. The Ling's getting right on top of that. 13 Mutalisk now on the way for Clem. Bly got a bit of damage done with that counterattack, but he's on 5 bases. He's at 92 drones. This is a very happy Zerg player, economy-wise. And just look at the resources, guys. Like, this is versus Terran with mules. This is such a sick economy for Bly. Clem's even a little bit scared, so he's scanning. He sees that it's still just lair, so he knows that he can stay on his Lingbane Muta. He's also getting up to his 4th base, so it's not like Clem's 3 base all-inning or anything. Now, looks like Bly planning a counterattack, and oh, these poor SCVs, they were just getting set up at this base. This is a bad first day at work for these SCVs right now. Baneling's rolling forward. Does Clem react? No, he does not. Fantastic Baneling connections there. 13 SCVs dying. Very nicely done by Bly, and Bly's like, hey, I got all the drones, you got no SCVs, things are going pretty well for me. 2-2, gonna be finishing up for Bly, so the players will be equal on upgrades. Clem has yet to start his 3-3 as well. He's making a lot of Widow Mines. I believe he's got his drilling claws. Yes, he does. So I imagine eventually he'll try and go for a solid push into Bly, but just with this bio, not even any Medivac supporting right now. Clem's just coming, or not any mines supporting this. Clem just runs right on in, picks off that base. Nicely done. Bly is taking a base to the right, which is nice. This is the point in the game in which I just love to see the Zerg throw up hatcheries left and right. You've got the economy to spare the minerals here and there, and say you're on like 4 bases and you lose one, it's like, oh no, I'm down to 3 bases. But when you're like Bly, he's already starting up a 6th base, so he won't be down on bases for a long time. It's definitely worth the investment to really anticipate just a few losses now. Bly coming in with his mutas, got to be very careful. Of course, all those Widow Mines are lurking around, hoping for some good connections. Nothing better than those 3 Widow Mines taking out a Mutaflock. And Bly has to be very careful. He sees this army coming, so he's getting very prepared for this. A lot of Lings on the way. Poor Muta flies right on over, but look at this, reinforcements getting picked off. Bly doing his best with these Mutas. Got to be very careful, though. But so far, he's up on supply, and Clem is stepping onto creep in the middle of the map. A massive Ling flood being planned for Bly as he's moving across the map. They are going to be heading on in. We'll see where they go, towards the natural, towards the 3rd perhaps. They're really just there between all of Clem's bases. They can't get much done at the 4th base thanks to Planetary, so actually a good defense coming out of the young French Terran. And I was just about to say, but I don't even have to. Bly already re-spreading creep. That's what I love to see. Clem shut it down a little bit, but he scans the 6th base of Bly. Bly's rebuilt his 5th base. Looks like there was a bit of aggression or something. Well, what's that? You guys saw that, those floating particles there, but Clem's moving in once again. He's sniped off this base once before. It looks like he's going to try and get it again. And the mutas of Bly, looks like he must have eaten a few Widow Mines. He's lost 6 mutas, but here comes in all of his Lings and Banelings. Clem wants the space. He's just right-clicked on it, but now he's got to evacuate. Not going to get away with it that easily this time, and suddenly he's flying back. He's got a Widow Mine in position. He's going to have to unload these units. We'll see if Bly commits off creep. 1 Widow Mine getting a pretty decent connection. Clem on the high ground, able to force Bly back. Supplies are even right now. Liberators beginning to being produced for Clem. He's got 4 bases. He's got a 5th about to finish up. And Bly, ooh, actually Widow Mine drops are going off. And it is important to note, guys, Bly's on 84 drones, but he's quite oversaturated on some of these bases, like 23 out of 16, 16 out of 10. That's the main concern. I mean, yeah, it's nothing too major, but he's got a 5th and a 6th base up. You do want to be mining off these bases. A Widow Mine at each of these bases as well. Such a nice bit of harassment. The fact that Bly has to respond, get detection. It looks like Bly is going to be losing the space. I'm a little bit concerned. Bly had the potential to really sprout up as this unkillable Zerg economy, but Clem's been keeping him down. Fantastic Widow Mine shutting down this Ling counterattack. Pretty much all those Lings are going to go down. The bunker gets repaired. Bly's expanding to the left, which I like to see. But maybe if we saw this a minute or two ago, it would have been a lot better. And suddenly, Clem's coming in with this army. He's got a ton of Widow Mines. It's Ling Bane. Bly is now getting into Ultras. This is the sort of scrappy game I was hoping to see between these players. Bly's looking for a nice bit of a surround right now. How many Banelings does he have? He's got 17. Not a huge amount. Not a terrible one either, but Bly's going to be forced to give up the space. Scared to engage into all those Widow Mines. And oh no, these poor Lings. They're going to run right into these Widow Mines. Clem. These Widow Mines have been so gold for defending these run-bys. Bly, he's not aware of the 5th base of the Terran, and look at this engagement going down. Clem's just bit off a chunk of Bly, and Bly has to deal with this. There's so many Widow Mines. There we go. Bly's been waiting for the Ultras. The first one runs on in, absorbing some Widow Mines, but oh, those Banelings got to be so careful. A few of those mines being detonated, but here comes in the rest of Bly's army. Mutas have eaten a few Widow Mines, but there doesn't seem to be too many more. We'll see. A base has already died, but Bly desperately needs to clean this up. Getting some decent connections there, but suddenly Bly down on supply after having a pretty significant lead. Clem's coming on in. He's currently up 2-1, and he wants to take a nice lead for himself at 3-1. Now, Bly, he's been trying to get into these Ultras. He's going to have his or his +3 soon. I believe actually his +3 armor was cancelled or never started. He's got chitinous plating, but only 1 Ultra on the way, and there's just so much for Clem. Mutas are doing their best to clean this up, but there's so many Marines, and the Mutas flying over a ton of Widow Mines right now. Bly has to tap out as Clem manages to close it out just with the standard push on in. GG, Clem getting himself a 3-1 lead. All right, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in, but we'll find out what the next map is. But suddenly Bly, he's got to win 3 maps in a row versus Clem. He had himself a pretty decent position, but he allowed Clem to come back in. Okay, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. We'll get on into the next game as soon as we can. We'll find out what the next map is. Looks like we have some follows coming in. I'm not even gonna try and mention that. Oh, Red Rider BB gun, pardon me. With the 2-month resub. Pretty awesome, the fact that I've got some people that have stuck around for a whole 2 months. Saying, did I miss Tage's games? Unfortunately you did, but fear not. You can always check out the VOD, which I will upload on YouTube at some point, probably within the next few days, !caster. And we'll get on into the next map. It's going to be Blue Shift for Bly. He's got to bring it back. A whole 2 months. That's how long, that's pretty much how long I've really been doing the Twitch thing. I mean, I probably streamed like back in like 2014 or 2015, but yes, it's been, this is when we've really been ramping things up with a lot of events and streaming and everything. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. We'll get everyone on into the game. If you guys want, you can also, I know the coupon code's been used up for the Matcherino, but you can always support the event if, say, you have a Twitter account or something. Why, thank you, Red Rider. Now, well, we'll get everyone on into the lobby. And looks like a few followers coming on in. Awesome to see that you guys are enjoying the content enough. As James on AxeTD following. Dedu 88. And of course, there'll be a few more coming in, but thank you guys for the follow. Okay, we'll just make sure everyone's ready, but the question is Bly ready to make the comeback happen? All right, everyone is ready, it looks like. Thanks so much for you guys tuning on in. Can you turn the ambient noises off in SC2? I should do that, but... Alright, here we are. This young man spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map. He's got himself a 3-1 lead. It's Clem. And his opponent spawning up on the top right-hand side of the map. It's Bly. Wrathslayer's spamming some of those parting emotes, but Clem starting things off dirty once again, moving out with an SCV. Gonna be going for a proxy barracks, it looks like. Looks like another follower or two coming in. Mimi Sill. May as well mention that as Clem's building his barracks out on the map here. Bly gonna be going just for a standard hatchery first. You can't blame him, but the first game that Clem did this, Bly just really fell apart. And this does, I think I've cast Clem before. I know, I've cast a fair few Clem games, but this seems to be his Clem's specialty. Not every Terran does this kind of build, just the one proxy barracks. But Clem seems to like that. All right, now, so hatchery, pool on the way. Now, does Bly scout this? I mean, not scouting a proxy 2 racks, you can just die. Not scouting this, you'll take damage, but you won't necessarily die. Now, Overlord will see the SCV coming on in. And we'll see if Bly reacts. He sees the bunker on the way. The question is, does he know if it's a 2 racks or not? Once he sees the Reaper coming in, he'll likely assume it's the same sort of strategy. And then there's going to be this bunker up. Just going to be a bit of a pain for Bly. Now, the thing is, it's key that he doesn't overreact. As Clem, he's just sort of going up for a normal expo behind this. Bly will see that expo, which is very important. Now, he will have to deal with this bunker, though. Clem going to force a reaction with this. And a second Reaper on the way. Now, suddenly, Bly, he's going to have to micro these drones because his Reaper hits early. We'll see if he can save that one, running it away. Another drone under fire. Bly not able to save that one. Ooh, and this one injured drone. Bly morphs it into a Spore Crawler, being extra safe there. Queen's now on the way. Ling's going to force this back. However, that Reaper can always fall back to the bunker, and that makes this hard. Bly throwing up a Roach Warren in response to this, maybe planning on breaking that, but Clem's just macroing up behind this, and we'll see. Now, few Lings have died to these Reapers. They're able to start whittling away on these. Even the Queens can be vulnerable to these Reapers as they bounce around. Ooh, if Bly can get one of those Reapers, it would be nice, but so far unable. Queen, I think it's important that the Queen focuses down the SCV, not the Reapers building it. You got to get that SCV to prevent the repair. However, this Queen going to be taking a fair bit of damage. Roaches now pop out for Bly in order to shut this down. This really is a hard reaction, but Clem just cancels. And these Reapers can always just get on out. And now we're seeing Clem going into a third CC. Bly is going to be counter pushing. There's no doubt about that. Clem sees this with the Reapers. But how will he react is the question. He may just float his CC, stay in his main base. Yeah, bunker building at his ramp. Bly's droning behind this, which is very important. I'd like to see a third base just start up immediately if he can afford it. But Bly having a hard reaction to this. And now Reaper's waiting at the top of this ramp. Ravager walks forward. Ravagers are pretty flimsy, so these Reapers, if they kill a Ravager, that would be absolutely huge. Bruising it up. And oh, looks like Bly actually is going to lose a Ravager. Yes, he does. He picks off the 2 Reapers, but 2 Reapers for a Ravager, a worthwhile trade. And now we see these Ravagers moving forward. The Cyclone's already going to be out. We'll see what they're able to get done. The second that Cyclone pops out, it's just lights out for one of these units, really, as that lock-on goes down. That Ravager not escaping that, and that makes it very hard. Corrosive Bow's going down. He may get like a supply depot, may pick off a few SCVs, but Bly going to be losing these units. Corrosive Bow's going down, so 4 SCVs have died so far. Bly's not really droning behind this. He's actually got so many resources. There we go. He's squeezing out a few drones, but he's still got 500 resources. Like, throw up a third base, Bly. Now, SCV is being worked on. Overlord is going to go on down. Okay, Corrosive Bow's dropping. Looks like these Ravagers committing, going to try and at least get one of those Cyclones sort of as payment, but Bly, look at this, he's got 900 minerals, guys. I don't really know what to say. The fact that he never started a third base is very concerning. Clem secures his natural base now. He took a bit of damage to that, but if Bly was macroing behind it, I'd say he's fine, but he's just starting up a third base now. Starting up a few more roaches. Yeah, this is pretty darn concerning. Siege tank on the way. And Bly's getting into a lair, but yeah, just his macro was significantly delayed behind this. Like, if Bly macros behind this, suddenly he's in a not horrible position. Banshee's coming on in for Clem. Queens will shoot away for Bly, though, and the fact that he's getting up his Spore Crawlers means he shouldn't take too much damage to this. Clem's going to fly on in, see the timing of the third base, and be very happy about this. I really have to reiterate, this base could be like 60 seconds earlier for Bly. And I mean, 60 seconds is a long time in StarCraft 2. This Banshee being a pain, Queen's having to come off creep in order to chase it down. And actually, once that Spore Crawler finish, or once that Cloaking finishes, Clem may be able to be a bit of a pain. A Spore Crawler's going to wander forward. Banshee will have Cloak now, but that Spore Crawler is going to help to defend this. That Spore may have to reposition in order to save this base. Bly definitely cannot afford to lose this hatchery. Yeah, I think he is going to have to reposition this Spore Crawler right now. He's going to want to try and get those Banshees. Look at this, Clem just trying to dance around this hatchery, being such a pain. We may have to see a transfuse to try and keep this alive, but no, oh my god, is he actually going to get this base? No way. We need to see a transfuse coming out of Bly. You got to transfuse that hatchery. He's working away on those Banshees. No transfuse going down, and he actually picks off both the Banshees, so keeping it alive is so important. Now, I mean, this hatchery is so low for Bly, and most importantly, it is not being droned up or anything like that. There's one Cyclone. Oh my god, is Clem just going to try and lock onto this? Please transfuse it, Bly. Like, this makes me so nervous. Yeah, look at this. Here comes in that Cyclone. It's flying right on. It's going right on in. Transfuse it. Okay, there's the transfuse going down. Clem trying to pick this off. That was pretty ambitious, but you see a hatchery that low, you gotta try and make it happen. Now the concern for Bly is Clem's getting in towards his third base. He's going to be able to drop mules on that. And Bly, he's on 3 bases. And suddenly we're seeing a lot of roaches moving across the map for Bly. It looks like he's going to be trying one of these flood plays here versus Clem. I think if he sits back like another 30 seconds, gets up another round of roaches, he's droning behind this, so it's not a massive commitment. He will have +1 Carapace. Stim is not yet done for Clem. And suddenly Bly will be coming on in, and Clem's really focused on defending his third, it seems. Medivacs are moving on out, but Ravagers are going to file down one of those tanks. A nice pickoff there, and now suddenly these upgrades could be in danger for Clem. Bly actually just focusing down one of those. Gets it, gets the armor. That's a nice denial there. Clem rebuilding this, but without Stim, these Roaches and Ravagers can trade decently. It is the tanks, though, that will end up forcing Bly back now. But still, denying the +1 armor is nice. Getting the +1 attack would have been a godsend, as not the most important upgrade that he got, but still, denying an upgrade is very nice for him. Bly's getting up his 4th base, a lot of Roaches on the way, and I don't mind this Roach style coming out of Bly. I know it gets a lot of flack, but the speed in which you can max out as the Zerg player, +2 Carapace starting for Bly, which I love to see as well, so really going to be keeping himself at least on par with the Terran players' upgrades. And yeah, now this third base still making me nervous with how low on health it is. Slowly rebuilding that health. But here comes on in Clem. Gonna be moving in with a drop. Bly sees this with the watchtower though. Now here come Marines stimming on in towards this third base. Clem gonna focus down one of the Ravagers. Gets that, which is nice, but ends up having to retreat. He's gonna fly right on over this Roach. That Roach probably gonna want to leave. But his life is forfeit now. Bly, he's getting up some banelings, getting up centrifugal hooks, which is nice to see. +1 melee on the way. So not just staying on this Roach Ravager, getting the lings and banelings, which help support this. Gonna force this drop away. The one concern that I do have for Bly is the tank count for Clem. Clem's currently up to 5 tanks, and as that number grows, it does become concerning for the Zerg player as to how you deal with this. I think I'd like to see Bly knock down these rocks right now, because Clem's going to be hitting this 4th base hard soon. And these roaches are moving in for a counterattack, it looks like. And we'll see what Bly is able to get done, but he is going to have to deal with this push coming his way. And suddenly, yeah, Clem's rolling on up. He's up on supply. Bly's +2 Carapace is not yet done. Tanks are going to be getting set up. How does Bly deal with this? He's got Ravagers and Lings, but those Roaches are busy doing a counterattack, and they're actually going to be able to pick off a tank right now. SCVs are being pulled to deal with this. Bly may just have to abandon the space, as a matter of fact. There's so many siege tanks. He did not knock down these rocks, so he can't come in from multiple angles. He's just going to have to forfeit the base. I think throw up another X-Bone. Look at this. Actually, Bly just coming on in. A lot more units here rolling on in. Not going to be able to get on into the natural, but he can always bounce towards the 3rd base where SCVs will be vulnerable. Clem picks off a base, but Bly just expands, and he's killed off 19 SCVs, which is a very nice move. Ling's going to be running on in towards this base. Tank fire going to be killing off some friendly SCVs, and these Lings getting a fair bit of damage done. Clem, he's lost 26 SCVs to this counter harassment. The tank definitely killed off a few of those. Now, Clem still has this very scary army, though. He's up on supply. Bly's bought himself a fair bit of time, and he's built up a pretty high number of banelings, and it's really going to come down to the engagement. That means banelings not great versus siege tanks if Clem bites himself off a very good position, but if Bly can get the jump on Clem, it's possible he'll just be able to wash right on over him. So, I mean, while losing your base isn't ideal as Bly, he's getting up another one. He's expanding once again, and we're actually seeing an 11 Mutalisk transition coming out of Bly. He's built up a nice bit of resources to produce 11 of them at a time, going up to 13. Clem's producing 2 tanks at a time, and we all know how tanks fare versus mutas. The answer is not great. I do like to see Bly knocking down these rocks. I mean, if he had knocked down these rocks before, maybe he could have taken an engagement versus the tanks, but here we see Clem. He's going to be moving out with this big old army now. The thing is, Ling's looking for a counterattack for Bly. He's saying, all right, you're moving out. I'm going to be moving on in. Now there's a fair bit of heads up for Clem for this attack, but Ling's going to be getting on in here, getting on top of the tank, getting on top of the bunker. And now, once again, Clem going to be looking for this base right now. The problem is you can't step on creep for Clem, so your push is delayed, and Bly knows that. So he may actually just abandon this base once again, but instead of engaging this army. He's got a lot of banelings, but you really do have to respect the tanks if you're Bly. Yeah, I think he is just going to abandon the base, move back to the right expansion, and suddenly there's mutas in the main base of Clem getting a fair bit of damage done. 17 SCVs going down. So many SCVs have died this game, 51 in total. Bly just playing this sort of, this guerrilla warfare style in a way. Clem tries to find Bly, but no, Bly's just hiding on out. A lot of Marines are running forward for Clem. Gotta be careful. Bly's building up a healthy baneling count. He's up to 35 still. Ling's getting counterattacks. Muta's getting counterattacks. Clem trying to hold on, but he's lost 31 SCVs. He's secured a 4th base, but these mutas dealing so much counter damage. The armor upgrade gonna be denied, which is absolutely huge, preventing an upgrade advantage. Now, the 3rd base of Bly is under fire, and losing this is definitely problematic for him, though. He may just want to go back with his mutas, but oh, he actually loses pretty much all the mutas, and that is absolutely huge, not having them to focus down tanks. And Bly, he's only got 10 banelings, so while he did fantastic counter damage, I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on. It's looking pretty good for Clem as he's moving on in right now. The young French Terran player is stimming forward. He's got the tanks. He's lost a few of them. He's actually just got the tank singular, but the banelings are now rolling forward. Can they get the connections Bly needs? They seem to be decent connections, but there's a lot of Marines left. There's no banelings left for Bly. Clem's moving on in, 30 supply to 94, and I think Clem may have done it 4-1 as he's stimming forward right now. Bly doesn't really have an answer. Bly was pulling Clem all over, but there was just so much Terran at the end. He wasn't quite able to deal with that army. And suddenly, yeah, it looks like that Clem's going to be able to take it, barring some massive baneling connections. I mean, the baneling connections are decent, but there's just not enough for Bly. Clem's going to take it 4-1, as yes, he does end up taking it. There's no real possibility for Bly to come back. He just lost too many bases. He doesn't have the production, and Clem is just stepping on his throat. GG. Clem manages to take it 4-1. All right. Okay, guys, so that is 2 best of 7 show matches done. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Those matches really were great to watch. But yeah, congrats to Clem on winning that match. And yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning on in. Now, I do appreciate you guys coming out to support the show match. However, yes, all right. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. This has been awesome. Waking up early to cast some StarCraft 2, I don't mind. There's a lot of other StarCraft 2 going on, so I'll probably host one of them at some point. But, no, yeah. I do appreciate you guys tuning on in. You still can grab the replays for these events at !Match Arena. I will also link the Tasia versus Parting if you want to grab those replays. Those are some high-quality replays, that's for sure. But, Devu asking what league I am. I am Masters 1 with Theron. Masters 3 with Protoss. Those are the races that I play. And then you can also find me at !Caster. When there's Windows plaguing being a pain. But no, yeah. I mean, that's the show matches for the day. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. I shall see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. And bye-bye. We'll find someone to host.